Yasha giving the course all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh. Bahashua Masab Malaki Yahweh Shah. That's all praises, honor, and glorification unto the Most High God Yahweh. In the name of his own begotten Son Yahweh Shah. This brother Yasha Allah coming back y'all yet another video through his spirit pod Yahweh. Bahashua Masab Malaki Yahweh Shah. Our Lord willing, all Israel has been endured through the spirit. I'm gonna get straight into this as after I was rudely interrupted in my last video. But we know that Satan cometh immediately when the word is being brought out. All right, so Mark chapter 4, verse 14. Right, it's all through the spirit. Right, but I'm gonna get straight into this. Right, let's go to the book of Acts chapter 2 and verse number 39. Right, it says, "For the promise is unto you and to your children and to all that are far off, even as many as the Lord our God shall call." So this is Peter. To get the context, this is Peter talking to the Israelites. When you read the book of Acts chapter 2 and verse 22, he's saying, "Ye men of Israel, hear these words." So he's speaking to the Israelites. And even when you read to verse where as he's reading, you can tell that he's speaking to the Israelites that even crucified Yahusha. All right? He will say that right now, or right then, in verse 36. Right? It says, "Therefore let all the house of Israel know assuredly." So he's talking to the children of Israel, that God hath made that same Yahweh whom ye have crucified, both Lord and Christ. All right, so he's speaking to them in this context. So if you're Israelite, technically, and guess what? What he's about to say as well also pertains to you, right? Because we know that the scriptures is a living book. It doesn't just stop. No precept, essentially has an expiration date. All right, this book is living. All right. So let's go to verse 39. They even say that with certain other literature as well. They'll even say that about like Shakespeare's, like for example, Othello, one of Shakespeare's novels. They'll say that the concepts and the themes of that book or that piece of literature still applies to this day. So even the same with the scriptures, even much more, 1,000 times more. Because even we can find man's literature inside of it, even though it's written about the 1600s, the 1200s, even back in the BC eras, they still pertain to what we go through today. They still pertain unto societal issues and stuff like that, and concepts that we can see in our everyday life. So how much more the scriptures, right? But that's just a sidebar. Let's go to Acts chapter 2 and verse 40. Here's the point, though. "And with many other words did he testify and exhort, saying, Save yourselves from this untoward generation." So basically, Peter says, save yourselves from this untoward generation. This is an untoward generation that we live in right now, man. What does that mean, untoward? When you go into that word for untoward, in the Greek, it essentially means a perverse generation. Perverse. Unruly. We live in an unruly society right now, huh? Because a lot of our people, they're unruly towards who? Not essentially towards, the so-called white man, Esau. They're not. That's who they're unruly to, man. They don't want to follow the commandments. They want to do and walk as they listen to what the Lord has for them. They don't want to do any of that, right? Let's go to the book, right, of Jeremiah chapter 6. And this has been going on from generation to generation. Right, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse number 13. "For from the least of them even unto the greatest of them, every one is given to covetousness. And from the prophet even unto the priest, every one dealeth falsely." So even from the least to the greatest Israelite in the world, right, they're walking perversely. They're not walking as the Most High wanted them to walk. Remember, we have a covenant established with the Most High from our forefathers. We have to take part and fulfill our part of that covenant, man. Because the Most High fulfilled it, and he speaks about that in Jeremiah and Isaiah, right? He fulfilled that part of his covenant. We have to fulfill our part as well, right? Let's go to verse 14. "They have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying, Peace, peace, when there is no peace." Right? And that's what a lot of our people even say right now. All they want is just peace, right? They're trying to say peace with Esau. They're trying to make amends, you know what I'm saying, with the other nations and have all this damn peace, or try to find peace in this world. Guess what? There is no peace in this world, man, because this is an untoward generation. So for as long as as Esau is the head of this world and the wicked have rulership over this whole world, right? There's not going to be any peace, bro. There's not. Let's keep reading. Verse 15. Were they ashamed when they had committed abomination? Nay, they were not at all ashamed. Neither could they blush. Therefore they shall fall among them that fall. At the time that I shall visit them, they shall be cast down, saith the Lord. The Lord said they're going to be cast down. Because when they had committed abomination, they were not at all ashamed. You see that? Because when a lot of our people, when they commit abomination, they don't even care, man. They don't feel any remorse. They don't feel any sorrow. You know? They don't feel bad for their sins, for their iniquity. Sometimes when our people commit great evils, they don't feel any type of way. And that's what the Lord said. They couldn't even blush. Therefore, what? They're going to what? Fall among them that fall. At the time that I shall visit them, they should be cast down, saith the Lord. Right? And that's this untoward generation that we live in. I'm reading to verse 16. Right? It says what? Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths. So we have to ask for the old paths, not the new paths. What's the new paths? Marching. We didn't march in the ancient world. In the ancient world, in ancient Israel, or during the time of the Maccabees, you think our forefathers were marching because these Edomites were coming into our land? No, they literally took up swords and staves. They literally took up bows and arrows and fought against Esau and the other nations that were coming into our land. Hand to hand. That's what they did. They wouldn't march. They wasn't marching. They were keeping the commandments, praising the God of heaven, Yahweh Shemini, right? Keeping the commandments, sanctifying the sanctuaries and the temple. That's where you had the feast of dedication from. You know, destroying the Edomites, Nicanor. You know, that's what our forefathers doing when we were being damn oppressed by these Edomites in the time of the Maccabean revolt, right? During the time of the Maccabees. But guess what? Our people nowadays, we're getting overrun by these Edomites, these other nations. All our people want to do is just march. It's just talking about it. And just try to hold hands with Esau. Even though Esau doesn't want to hold hands with you, right? Now, I'm not saying that we have to take up arms and literally physical arms against Esau and the other nations right now. Although we're going to do that, when Yahweh Shah gives that power and authority for us to do. But right now, it's more so of a spiritual battle. Let's go to the book of 2 Corinthians real quick. It's a spiritual battle. We're fighting against Satan and his angels spiritually right now. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, although we're in this flesh, right? We do not war after the flesh. We're not picking up grenades and rocket launchers and damn pistols and try to take down Esau ourselves, right? That's not our job. Verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. So the weapons of our warfare is not carnal, right? But mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. So that's what we do, right? That's why we study. That's why we read. And that's why we go out into the highways and byways. That's why we make videos. That's why we go into the clubhouses, so that we can pull down these imaginations, so that we can break down the strongholds that Esau has put on our people. Because before we can actually break physically out of these chains of bondage that we're in right now, wake up, got to go to work. You know what I'm saying? Day by day, every day. And then in Haggai chapter 1, verse 6, it'll even tell you that he that, hold on, let me just get it. Right, let's go to Haggai chapter 1, verse 6. This is the situation that we're in right now, man. Right? This is the situation that we're in right now. You wake up, you got to go to work. Work, work, work. That's all. That's it. That's just your life. You know? Got to go to work, get back home, and you're too tired, and you got to fight sleep, you got to fight Satan, and you got to fight your wife, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all tribulation that we have to go through right now. Right? Let's go to Haggai chapter 1 and verse 6. It says, Salaki, it says, ye have sown much and bring in little. So we have sown much, but we have brought in little. We've done 400 years of free work. And I'm talking about the Judites only. I'm not even talking about Northern Kingdom. right? And Northern Kingdom has put in a lot of work, man. So we have so much and bring in little. Look at the condition of our people. Look at the condition of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We're living low in this society. We're living low in South America, Central America, in North America, in Babylon. We barely have anything. But I thought we had literally worked our asses off. Right? Literally worked our asses off during the time of slavery. We worked over for 400 years, from sun up to sun up, damn, with our backs whipped. You know what I'm saying? Picking cotton, picking all manner of fruits and vegetation, and doing all manner of servile work. You know, or it's like not even servile work, of doing hardcore slavery, right? Work and labor. We've been doing that. We've been sowing much, but we have brought in little. We don't even have anything, man. We don't have anything, right? As a people, it says what? Ye eat, but have not enough. And even on an individual level, you can work so much, and all that work they put in, 10 hours a day, 9 hours a day, 8 hours a day of work, and you know what I'm saying? All you can do is just bring in the bare minimum. You can barely make rent. You can barely make these things. You can barely make that car note, right? You know, et cetera, et cetera. That's that's us right now. That's our people, right? It says what? Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but you're not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there's none warm. And everything in this society too is fake. That's why also we can drink, we can eat, and you'll be hungry damn 2 hours later. Because that food that you ate is fake, man. The only reason you bought it is because it might taste good and because it's cheap. That's fast food for you. It's cheap. You know, sometimes it's cheap. Sometimes it's not even cheap, man. And they're selling you fake food. But a lot of times, hey, this fake food, you know, it's cheap because it's fake. It's not even real. And if you want to get the real food, you got to go to the organic section. And in the organic section, that's where the Edomites go, right? That's where Esau gets his food, man. At the organic stores. But, hey, the price is hella high. You can't afford that, right? So you can only get the fake food. That's why when you eat it, you might get sick. You get hungry, damn, 30 minutes later. You know, it's all manner of hell, right? But it says what? Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. So that's why when we work, you know, we do anything, it's like we got to do it right over again because we lose it so quickly, right? But let's go back to this real quick. Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16, it says, Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. So we have to ask for the old paths. This is the old path right here, right? The path of life. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 16 and verse 11. This is the old path, right? Psalms chapter 16 and verse number 11. Thou wilt show me the path of life. So the path of life is keeping the commandments and following the Lord. That's the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. So we have to ask for the old paths. It says what? Where is the good way? So this is the good way. All right, let's get a precept, right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 4. Marching, then following the so-called the ways of our oppressors, the ways of the other nations. Those are not the good way. The good way is right here, following the Lord. Let's go to Proverbs 4 and 2. For I give you good doctrine. This is the good doctrine. Forsake you not my law. So we got to be keeping the commandments. That's that old and good way, right? It says what? Where's the good way? And walk therein. Meaning walk in it. Live in it. Walk down that narrow road. Walk therein, man. Right? And ye shall find rest for your souls. That's when we're going to find rest. Because in this society, for as long as we're here in Babylon the Great, we're not going to find any rest. This is not our rest right here, man. This is our captivity. We literally were brought over here on slave ships and never was given any type of reconciliation, was never able to go back, you know what I'm saying, to Israel, right? Never had that happen, man. We were just put in slavery. Damn, 1865 came around, Emancipation Proclamation, all this other stuff, and then we, instead of us being in physical damn chains, now we're in the mental and spiritual chains, right? So that's all that happened. We're still in captivity, man. All right, let's go to Micah chapter 2, verse 10, the classic. Because we have to reiterate that fact. We as Israelites have to understand that this society has nothing for us, man. Right? Micah chapter 2, verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction. So we have to arise and depart. That's why in the book of Acts chapter 2, going back to the precept, Acts chapter 2 and verse number 40, it says, and with many other words did he testify and exhort, saying, save yourselves from this untoward generation. That's why Peter said that, man. Save yourselves. He said, save yourselves, right? Deliver yourself, right? Let's read that again, right? Salakia. I'm going to get this precept, right? Deliver yourselves. Right, let's go to Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 6, right? Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 5. Deliver thyself as a roe from the hand of the hunter, and as a bird from the hand of the fowler. So it says, deliver thyself as a roe. You see that? And what's a roe? A roe is another word, or essentially, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is a type of deer. So as the deer runs to and fro, right, and chases itself, right, it says what? Deliver thyself as a roe from the hand of the hunter. So the hunter is chasing this roe. It's chasing the deer down. This hunter was not stopped, man. He's like a lion. And who's that hunter? On one level, it's talking about Satan. Satan is hunting our every step, right? Let's go to the book of Luke. It'll tell you that in the book of 1 Peter chapter 5, you know? But let's also go to the book of Luke chapter 22. All right? Luke chapter 22 and verse number 31. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he might sift you as wheat. So Satan hath desired to have you. A hunter that's chasing the deer down, he desires that deer. He desires it. He desires to kill it. You understand? Skin it and to eat it. You know what I'm saying? The hunter desires that deer. And so just like Satan is that hunter. And we're the deer. We have to deliver ourselves, man. Guess what? That roe that's being chased has to literally run for his or her life. Right? It says, what? Deliver thyself as a roe from the hand of the hunter, and as a bird from the hand of the fowler. So we're like also a bird, man. We're prey in this society. We're not the predator. We're prey. And the predators are walking right amongst us, man. Right? And on that physical level, of course, Esau is that hunter as well. Right? Because he's hunting our every step. He's the physical counterpart of Satan in this society. Right? 1 Peter 5 and 8. Be sober. And that's why the Lord said to be sober. Because what do you look like if you're being chased, you know, and you're drunk? You're not going to be in your right mind. You're going to be staggering to and fro like a drunken man. Right? So we have to be sober. We have to understand what's going on around amongst us. And so that's why a lot of our people, they're drunk in this society. Right? Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse number 23. All right? They're literally drunk in this society. Right? Proverbs chapter 20, Slakia. I want it. Proverbs 23:29. Right? It says what? Who have woe? Who have sorrow? Who have contentions? Who have babbling? Who have wounds without cause? Who have redness of eyes? Right? They that tarry long at the wine, and they that go to seek mixed wine. So they that tarry long at the wine and mixing wine together, mixing this philosophy, mixing Islam with Christianity, mixing the ways of Babylon with the ways of the heathen, right? Other nations. You just mixing philosophies. That's what our people do. They like to mix wine together. And so when you mix that wine together, guess what? It's now more stronger. You're mixing this strong drink with that one. Hey, when you drink that cup, it's going to be, you know, how they say in the world, it's going to F you up. Right? You're going to be messed up after that. And so that's our people, staggering to and fro like a drunken man because they want to mix philosophies and doctrines together and consume it. Right? But it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. He's in the damn movies. Right? Satan trying to get you through media, through Facebook, through Instagram, through Snapchat. Satan trying to get at us, you know, and get to us and get into our minds so that we can follow out the truth. Because when we have fall out the truth, Satan has won at that point, man. He has won, because then you'll be a vessel of wrath fitted for destruction. All right. So let's go back to this in the book of Acts. So that's what Peter, he's saying, save yourselves from this untoward generation. This is a wicked generation and a wicked world that we live in, man. You know, a very a world that is not stemmed and based off, or basically not aligning themselves with the ways of Yahweh Bashim and Yahweh Shah. Right, so I'm gonna read that again. I'm gonna close out this Acts chapter 2 and verse 40. And with many other words did he testify and exhort, saying, save yourselves from this untoward generation. So if Peter was saying that this was an untoward generation even back then, and remember, they didn't have social media back then. They didn't have social media back then. They may not have had homosexuality as it was rampant as it is right now than back then. They may not have had certain things that we have right now that are wicked devices of Satan. Nevertheless, Peter said with his wisdom and through his knowledge, he said, save yourselves from this untoward generation. If he said that back then, 2,000 years ago, how much more now? So with that, all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. Lord willing, this is edifying. The water for tuning in. Brother Yasha Allah. Shalom.